people of the internet, my name is George, the artist here at Leafy Games.
And my name is Preston, the programmer. And we're going to show you a couple new features today, which we've been working on for the past week or two. You can probably see out the window. What do you call this?
Like a security drone?
Yeah, the W.D. Corporation new ship. We'll show you that in just a little bit. First, I want to talk to you about some work I've done on the computer screens for the scientist class. So the scientist is in charge of managing the ship's computer network and computer systems. And you can see right here we have something called Program Manager. Right now I just duplicated this targeting program a bunch of times. But in reality the game won't have, all these will be unique programs, and actually they'll all do something related to the ship. And they integrate with the hacking system, so the scientists can essentially target one of these programs and either prevent it from working or take it over. And these programs are in charge for processing information about the ship and running the ship's systems. So you can see here, firewall is taking up a lot of my resources, my computer resources, and so you can do a couple things from this menu. So the scientist can control how much resources he wants allocated to different tasks. So this is pretty much like the task manager on your computer. So you click it, gives you a little bit of information, and right here is the priority. So I set to a low priority, and it's going to be knocked down immensely. All these targeting programs are high priority, which kind of makes it exaggerates the effect. So basically, run all the high priority tasks first, and then go to the mid and low accordingly. You can also stop it. And as I'm doing this stuff, you can see that the usage goes up for the other ones. There's also a weird flicker effect. We're going to be working on that. We have to port over our GUI code from the Unity system to another one, either one I'll design, or we'll try to find one that's better at writing the textures. It kind of screws up with the text when you put input. It's kind of weird, but we'll work on that. So the scientists will be able to control these different programs and assign a priority. This one doesn't have a description, but you can stop them, and basically as you're doing this you can see that the usage for the other ones dynamically changes. So we really did build a task manager behind all this, and it sort of accurately and realistically assigns processor usage. I think it looks pretty cool, and it might seem a bit complicated, but as you learn what they do and get used to the system, it's actually pretty simple. You won't be interacting with like all of it all the time. It's going to be like interacting with one or two programs at a time and sort of getting it the way you like it, and then monitoring it, seeing if a virus, because viruses can come in here or and affect the usage, and there's stuff you have to look out for, but we'll go more into that in a future Devlog. So over here is the screen you're going to use to bypass the enemy firewall. So when you can create a virus and send it to the enemy ship, this is the screen that basically determines if you're successful in that. Based on the enemy's firewall usage and their virus scanner, this will change. Right now, it's still pretty early in development, so we're sort of just playing with ideas at this point, throwing them in the game and seeing if they're fun. This right now it sort of resembles like a hex version of Minesweeper. This is saying that there's one. These hexes all represent ports. This is saying that one port that it's a neighbor to is blocked by the firewall, and if you run into the firewall, it basically starts all over again. So you have to try to recreate a virus and send it again. So the idea is, of course, to make it through without running into a firewall. So it's still very early, so it doesn't actually, if I run into a firewall, it won't end the game. So that right there would end it. But again, this is very early. We're just playing with ideas at this point.
In this current version, the objective would be to go from one side of the screen to another successfully, and that would mean you successfully inputted your virus, and you can't, of course, interact with the firewall, or else you have to start over. And based on, like how much how high of a priority the firewall program is will determine how many of those units the enemy will have to traverse through in order to send a successful virus to your ship, right?
Yeah. And also, cool thing about this is you can use the scroll wheel. You can probably notice the sort of glitch flicker effect. And we're going to be working on that, so that'll be gone. But you can just use your scroll wheel to scroll up and down this thing. It's pretty smooth and nice, so I'm pretty happy with that. So that's pretty much it with the scientists. This is still very early, and we're still working on it, but we want to give you a little preview of how it's going to work. We're really trying to make it feel like a real computer system, and be very rewarding to use it and sort of feel realistic. So, but we'll get back to that. So we have a few other things to show you. So shall I pilot the ship?
Sure. So yeah, the ship in front of this one is an unmanned security drone owned by the W.D. Corporation. They're an interesting ship in the fact that they, of course, they're completely controlled by a computer system. There's no atmosphere. There's no contained atmosphere for human life. There's no way you can board the ship, which is an interesting concept. There's also you'll most likely find them if you're trespassing through WD space, like if they have private sectors. If you decide to risk it and go in, you might encounter one of these, or maybe even a few of them or something like that. And they're kind of scary because you can't intimidate them, you can't bribe them. Yeah, there's really not much you can do. They're going to attack you pretty much immediately. So for those people who try to solve things diplomatically, you might have a problem in a WD private sector if you run into these bad boys. Another interesting concept that these guys bring into play is that there's a special thing on the back of the ship that it's kind of like its own little warp core, and when they notice an enemy, when they notice a trespasser, they'll simply eject that core, it's like a tiny little device, and it charges up its warp drive, and it's actually it's the destination of that device is back to the nearest WD headquarters location to alert them of a trespasser in their private sector. Since it goes a lot faster than the speed of light because it's a science fiction game, that's the most efficient way to send a message. And since it is so, the sentry stays to destroy you while that warp drive goes back to alert everyone else of your location. The main strategy in fighting these guys would be to destroy that little tiny device before it is able to jump. It only has one, so just keep that in mind when you fight these guys, that you could be seriously screwed later on if you forget to take that out. So that should be the number one priority when fighting them. And do you want to add anything else to these guys, Preston?
No, you got it. Pretty much, yeah, they're going to be a pretty scary fight. I mean, it's basically you can't, for most ships, you can teleport to their ship in a last-ditch effort if your ship is under fire or, about to be destroyed. You can always teleport there and take the fight to their ship and maybe have, a last stand on their ship. But they really don't have it. There's no interior. It's just computers, and there's no, so you can't teleport to their ship. If your ship's destroyed, you're pretty hopeless. Basically, you can't take them over. But yeah, no, they're gonna be pretty intimidating. I think we have one other enemy in here.
Yeah, it's the start of a new type of enemy, and this is more of an organic species that exists in the PULSAR universe. We're kind of calling them the infected for now. That name might change, but they're just massive organisms that are just really dangerous in this universe. So this is quite a large one. And of course it's still pretty early, but it'll actually You probably won't be able to get this close to it. It's going to be launching all sorts of scary stuff your way. The main strategy for these things is it launches these like spore things that will sort of try to like grapple onto your ship, and if one does manage to hit your ship, small like little infected creatures will start to crawl out of it and dig inside the hull of your ship, not only causing hull integrity but also boarding your ship, and you have to fight these little scary little creatures. Not a lot is known about their intentions or where they come from or their biology and that kind of stuff. And most protocol indicates that, if you see one, don't stay and fight it, you gotta run. So they're pretty interesting. I think there are animations. They might not be playing. There might be. Yeah, these guys are pretty scary, and this is just the start of a whole slew of organisms that kind of are going to be an interesting addition to the gameplay, we believe. So we're pretty excited to have something a little different. You want to add anything, Preston?
No, that's pretty much it. That's good. So besides that, we've added a sprint, although it's like really super fast. But just to help speed getting through ships and stuff. Really just more for us right now, just going, look over here, I want to debug over here or something. But there will be like a sprint in the game. And we're playing with more ideas for gunplay, but we'll once we've sort of finalized those, we'll start talking about those a little more. But we have some pretty cool ideas for getting that to be a little cooler. So, but besides that, thank you for watching, and see you soon.
Yeah, have a good one, guys. Let us know what you think. Yeah, bye.